Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday, MLK Day, holiday, whatever day it is. I'm going to give y'all some time to join me. This is a non-traditional time that I normally would do a stream. So this is pretty free for all right now. And what I mean free for all, I would love to hear from you to see what are you doing today? How are you spending your time today? I'm spending my time doing a few special things that I want to share with you. So this is kind of like a special live that I'm working on, something that I want to kind of share with everyone. And so I'm gonna give people a chance to join if they are open and available to join. If not, then it might just be me talking to myself for a while. I'm in my home office today, and I'm working. A lot of people take the MLK Day holiday to not work, but I choose to work on this day because my work is service, and Dr. King did nothing but serve. And so, if your work is service, you don't take days off. You serve every day. It's a lifestyle. It's not a job. It's not anything else. It's how you live, and so that's how I live. So if you joining me today, let me know where you're logging in from. I'm going to give you a chance to join on because this is a non-traditional time, and I'm on multiple platforms right now. I'm on Facebook, so let me know if you're on Facebook. Let me know if you're on LinkedIn. Comments, questions, I want to get them all today. And I got something that I want to share with y'all. And I got my scissors in my hand. I'm cutting up something right now, but I'm going to show you what I want to share with you right now. It's a box right here. This is a box. I'm going to tell you more about it in a second, but I'm just sharing a little bit. Spending some time seeing who wants to engage on this beautiful ice cold holiday. Is there something going on in the world today? I don't know because I'm not watching TV or watching the news, so I have no idea what was going on. I literally learned a week ago about the fires in California because in January, I do kind of like a fast, or when I say my wife and I, my church and I, we do a consecration and we minimize watching of TV and listening to news, all of the above. And, some people say, that's crazy. How you not watch the news? Well, if it's something really bad that's going on that could affect me or someone that I care about, there's somebody in my world and my network that will tell me what's going on, and that's how I know. But other than that, right now, I'm just not watching much news or not watching much TV at all whatsoever. But what I am doing is that I'm preparing to have a great year. I'm working hard on some projects, on some things that I think will add value to people. And I want to talk to you about it today. And it's called the Just Know Your Team cards. It's a deck of cards that I have developed. And when I say developed, it's not really a deck of cards. It's a leadership development tool. That's what I call it on the box. A leadership development and team building tool. That's what it is. Just know your team. Leadership development and team building tool. So I want to know, do you want to be a leader? And do you want to build a team? Because if you don't want to lead and you don't want to develop a team, it ain't for you. I don't ever pretend that my stuff is for everybody. My stuff is for the people who would get value out of it and not the people who don't get value out of it. So I'm sharing this today on these platforms because I really want to get some feedback. So I want to get some feedback from you all about this tool. So let me explain to you what it is. I'm going to open up the box and show you what it is. And some of you may have already seen this before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But it literally is a deck of cards, like a deck of cards. Like you playing spades or bid whist or gin rummy or poker. You can shuffle them. They're oversized, so they're not like an easy deck of cards. They're oversized. But on these cards are questions, okay? There are questions on these cards. And I'm going to ask you all 2 or 3 of these questions, and I want to see you put your answers in the comments. That would be very helpful to me if you could answer these questions. Okay. I'm going to answer them too, because that's a big part of the game, is that a leader should answer these questions first. Okay. So the moment I get 5 people on this live, I got 2 right now, 4, now 2 and 4 again. So it's going back and forth, it's going up and down. And I know that's what happens on these platforms, is that the numbers change. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to just start because I want everybody to know what's on these questions, and I want to get some feedback from people. Okay. So here's the question. Question number 1 out of the gate. Let's pretend it's not 2025. It is 2026. 1 year from now. 1 year from now, what's one thing that you want that you don't have right now? That's the question. It's in this deck. It's on the back of this card. I'm going to let you read it. 1 year from now, what is one thing you want that you don't have right now? 1 year from now, what's one thing I want that I don't have right now? The one thing that I want a year from now that I don't have right now is that I want to have a new suit, and a green suit. Like, I got lots of suits. I got black and blue, gray. I got a red suit, but I want a green suit, and it's going to be a special green suit. It's not bright green. Okay. It's not, I don't want a lime green suit. But I want a green suit. I want a dark green suit, like more hunter green. Hunter green is like my favorite color. So that's one thing. 1 year from now is one thing that I want that I don't have right now. What about you? I want to know what's one thing you want that you don't have right now, if it's a year from now. So I'm not going to get the suit today, but next year this time I like to have the suit. Okay. So that's one of the questions in this deck. Now, that question was not the best one. Okay. So here's the second question that I'm going to do, and maybe y'all might get some enjoyment out of this, because you can't show me, but I could probably show you. Here's a question on the deck. The question is, show and tell us something about one thing in your home office space. Okay. So here's a question. Show and tell us about one thing in your home office space. Well, I got lots of stuff in my home office space. I know y'all can see a lot of things behind me, and I hope my camera doesn't fade out if I turn around and try to grab something from behind me. So let me try to slide back, and I'm going to grab one thing that's behind me, and you can't see it, but I'm going to grab this photo right here. So this is a photo of me and Barack Obama. This is a photo. Now, why is this in my home office space? Because this photo was taken the night before he was elected president of the United States. So when I say the night before he was elected president of the United States, it was November 3rd, 2008. This photo was taken. It was taken in Charlotte, at UNC Charlotte, like on their ball fields, like a softball field or a baseball field. President was flying around the country doing his last day of rally speeches before Election Day. It was also the day that his grandmother passed away, Grandma Toot, and he was spent. I don't know if you can tell in his face. He looks normal and natural, but he was exhausted when he took this photo. It was also the day before my election day. I was running for the state legislature in Columbia, South Carolina, Northeast Richland County, Kershaw County, House District 79. So it was the night before a big election for the both of us. His to be president, mine, I had never been elected to anything. It was my first publicly elected office. And so this photo stays behind me in my office. So I'm going to put it back. Okay. So again, that's the second question in this deck. Show and tell something in your home office. Now, Here's a third question I'm going to show you. This is a third question in the deck. If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be? If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? If I could live anywhere in the world, I'm going to tell you it would be in this place right here. Cape Town, South Africa. That's where I would love to live and to be, is in Cape Town, South Africa. So my question for you, if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, rent-free, expense-free, you could just say that you lived there for a year to enjoy everything about it. There's anywhere in the world that you could live for free. Where would you live? If you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would you live? I would live in Cape Town, South Africa. That would be my place. So that's 3 cards that I've given you in the deck. Okay, so let me find one more. I'm going to do one more right now, and then I'm going to explain to you what these decks are and why I use them, okay? So here's another question in the deck that I'm pulling out, randomly pulled it out. This is question number 4. Who was your childhood celebrity crush? Your childhood celebrity crush. So I had a lot of childhood celebrity crushes. And when I say childhood, I don't know if I can go back to like 5 or 6 years old, but I could know the first celebrity crushes I had. And it's going to be obvious to anybody who is plus 45, maybe under 55. It has something to do with the Cosby Show. And my childhood celebrity crush was Denise on the Cosby Show, Lisa Bonet. She was childhood celebrity crush. If I had to add another one, it would be another Lisa. Lisa from Cult Jam. That was a childhood celebrity crush. So there you go. 2 childhood celebrity crushes. Now, what about you? If you had a celebrity crush, who was it? Are you willing to say it? Are you afraid to say it? Would you share it? Would you tell it? Would you let somebody know who your childhood celebrity crush is? Simple question. Okay. Now, why am I sharing all of this with you? Is because these cards are questions that I have used as a leader since I've been in a leadership position. Now, let me explain to you what I mean. I didn't have this deck for 25 years, but I used to keep a list of questions. Sometimes they would be like icebreaker questions, but sometimes they're questions that I would make up, questions that I really wanted to know about the people on my team. And the reason say I really wanted to know is because I'm a people person first. Like, I'm interested in who you are as a human being. I'm interested in who you are in your life experience, like where you grew up, your favorite color, your favorite candy bar, like what's your dad's name? What did your dad do growing up that you thought was hilarious? Because my dad did a whole lot of stuff that was hilarious. And I like sharing those things. I like telling people about those things that my dad did, telling people things, stories about my grandfather, my family. So I like those nuances about me that make me me. And I really want to learn those things from other people. So since I've been a leader, and then when I may say a leader, I've been a leader a long time, a lot of different instances, but the first time I had to supervise people, and when I mean supervise, the first time I had to supervise people was 1998 when I worked in Washington, D.C. for a nonprofit called the Center for Community Change. I had 3 direct reports and I had 24 indirect reports. But I interfaced a lot with my indirect reports as much as I did my direct reports. So what I would do when we would have staff meetings or when we would be in the office together I would ask people a question. And the question would be just to get them thinking or get them sharing. Okay. So the question would be something like this. And I'm going to show you another question because this one was a dope question right here. Okay. What year, make, and model was your first car, and did you name it? So at 24, I was driving a Honda Accord in Washington, D.C., Honda Accord DX, but it definitely was not my first car. My first car was a 1984 Buick LeSabre. It was brown exterior, brown interior. It had no hubcaps on it. The radio didn't work. I kept a boombox in the car. The AC would sometimes work and didn't work, and it had a leaky transmission. That car had a name, and the name was Calm JJ, CALM JJ. That was the make and model of my first car, and the name of the car was Calm JJ. Now, why was it called Calm JJ? CALM JJ. Because that's what the license tag said was Calm JJ. Why did the license tag? It was a Virginia tag. Why did it say Calm JJ on the tag? Was because my mom and dad were big fans of vanity plates. As far back as I can remember, if you could get a vanity plate in Virginia, we had a vanity plate. My dad had a Chevy van, and his vanity plate for that van was 6 guns, the number 6, GUNNS, because there was 6 of us in the family. So the tag said 6 guns. Well, we had a car that had the vanity plate Calm JJ, CALMJJ. And the tag, Calm JJ, was an acronym for all of our names. So Sharon was the C, the A was for the Anton, the L was for Luigi, my dad's name, and the M was for Mona, my mom's name, and the JJ was for my twin brothers, Jason and Jamal, Calm JJ. So when I drove this 84 Buick LeSabre to college around campus, it had this tag called Calm JJ. And I'll never forget my Kappa brothers, my frat brothers, my line brothers would call my car Calm JJ. So that's how it got the name Calm JJ. So again, question to get to know. So what year, make, and model was your first car? And did you name it? I'm seriously asking. I want to see if you named your first car. So tell me if you named your first car. I want to hear what the name of your car is, what the name of your car was. Where is it? I want to see it. I want to know about it. Tell me the name of your very first car. If you had a car. If you didn't have a car, then it ain't you. You may not have a car at all or had a car at all. But if you had one out of high school, I want to know what your car is. Let me know. Now, I know some of y'all are probably like overwhelmed with other stuff right now, and that's okay. You can be overwhelmed with other stuff. But I want to ask the question, what was the name of your very first car? Do you have a car? I want to know what it is, what it looks like, okay? I see John Strickland is watching today, but the world may be busy right now, and not a lot of you are watching. But if you have a first car, I want to know what it is, okay? So I would ask questions like that to my team. I'm, going long on the first car. But I would ask questions like that to my team. Here's why I would ask my team those types of questions. Is because you can learn a lot about a person by knowing what their first car was. Just imagine if you asked somebody on your team, what was the make, model, and year of your first car? And they told you, well, my first car was a 2014 BMW 740 Li. Mary had a 72 Jeep Wagoneer, but no name. Okay, I like that. A Jeep Wagoneer. with no name. What color was it? That's another question. I want to know what color was your car, because car color could mean a whole lot of stuff. Because I had a friend who had a purple car. Car literally was purple. Yeah, wood paneling on it. Oh, that's nice. that's really good. Wood paneling on a car. I bet you loved it too. You took it everywhere. It was your prized possession. Okay, so I would ask questions like this to people on my team, and it would be an opportunity for me to share a little bit about me, and for them to learn a lot about you. Oh, you had a red car. That's a fancy, flashy car, Mary, and you inherited it red. That's fine. That's totally good. Mine was a hand-me-down from my family, so it's similar to inherited. I guess you can call a hand-me-down inherit. Okay, so I would ask my team these questions, and they would tell me about things like their favorite car, their favorite color. One other question I would ask. Here's one that's pretty interesting. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be? Okay. So here's the question. If you had to eat one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be? Now, my answer to this question could vary depending on the day of the week that you caught me. But as I'm talking to you right now, if I had to eat one meal every day for the rest of my life, what would it be? It would be fried fish, crinkly cut French fries, and a salad with romaine lettuce, tomatoes, carrots, tomatoes, cucumber, and light cheese with Catalina French dressing. That would be my one meal. If I had to eat that every day for the rest of my life, it would be fish and French fries and a salad. Don't ask me why, but that would be my thing. Now, the reason why you ask this question, the answer is important, okay? But it also tells you about a person. So and it gives them the opportunity to give feedback. So when I would do these questions at staff meetings, people would share a little bit about. So if I would have said the answer, I love fish, and someone on my team says, oh, I hate fish, I can't stand fish, then you know what I would do? I would make note of their answers or their feedback on my answers. Now, why would I make a note on their answer or feedback on their answers? Because if somebody on my team told me that they hate fish, you know what we never have it in the office? You know what kind of restaurant I'm never taking them to? You know I'm not going to do a fish fry at all. I would never bring them to a fish fry. Because why would I want to take you to something or bring something to you where you've already told me that that's something that you don't like? So these questions become an intelligence tool for me as a leader, because the best leaders are the ones that know their people the best. They understand them the best. And then they do the things that their people care about. They show them that they care about them. So here's what I have is these 5 questions I already kind of read off to you, but there's many more questions in the deck. I mean, like many, many more. There are 57 questions in this deck. Why not 52 and why 57? Well, one is that because when I finished playing college football, my jersey number was 57. I thought that was cool. And the second thing is, if you had a staff meeting once a week, let's say you have a staff meeting once a week, where you could literally ask a different question every week you had a staff meeting. So for a whole year, you could learn 52 different things about your team. You could share 52 different things about yourself so your team could get to know you. That would be the value of the Just Know Your Team cards. Now, there are 5 more questions in there, because I believe that the prerequisite of leadership is service. And in order to serve people, sometimes you got to share. So what do I mean? There are 5 extra cards in the deck. And when I say 5, they're not specifically marked differently, but I added 5 more cards to the deck because I believe every leader should share more than their team. That you should be more transparent with your people than your people are transparent with you. And what I mean more transparent, I'm literally saying you need to be more transparent and share more things. So let me give you an example. So I pulled out 5 cards that as a leader, I should be more transparent about. They're my team. And y'all are my team right now. You're not my team. Y'all don't work with me, work for me, help me accomplish my goals. You don't necessarily help me book speaking engagements and other stuff, but you do things to help me. Okay. So here are the 5 questions that I pulled out randomly, just grabbed them, that I'm going to share 5 things about me. And if any of these resonate with you, let me know by reciprocating the sharing in some way, shape, or form. Okay. You don't have to reciprocate, but if you want to reciprocate, you can feel free to do so. Okay. So here's question number 1 of the 5 things I'm going to share. What was the first job you ever had? The first job that I ever had. Now, I'm not going to talk about like the stuff I did with my grandfather, helping him put up ceiling fans in the community, because he didn't pay me for it. He just made me do it. That's not a job if you don't get paid for it. At least that's my interpretation. But the first job that I ever had was at Wendy's in Military Circle Mall in Norfolk, Virginia. I worked at Wendy's for 3 months in the summer of 88 or 89. I think it was 89. I can't remember. But it was right before my 10th grade year. Okay. My uncle, Eldon, got me that job at Wendy's because he worked at Wendy's and was a manager at another location. So he talked to the manager, Cindy, who took pity on, Eldon's nephew and hired him and put him on fries. I made $3.50 an hour at Wendy's that summer of 1989. So my very first job is that I worked at Wendy's. That's what I did. Okay. Second question that I'm going to share. What's your favorite family recipe? My favorite family recipe, and those of you who follow me on Facebook or pay attention to me on Facebook know that my favorite recipe, cashier at a children's store. Okay. 15 years old for the summer. All right. That's good. Cashier. They trusted you with money at 15 years old. They wouldn't dare put me near money at 15 years old, Mary. I mean, like, I only went there to work because I needed to make some money to try to buy some school clothes. But I don't think they could have put me on the register. And I wasn't really good at math a lot. So I would be all confused if the total was like $1.19 and somebody gave me $1.25. I would be straight confused if you didn't give me exact change. So I couldn't have been on the register, but I was on fries and I did a good job on fries. Okay. So second question, what's your favorite family recipe? My favorite family recipe, if you follow me on Facebook, you know, Sarah Crow, you work at a Christmas tree farm. Did you cut down the trees or did you just collect the money and did somebody else cut down the trees? I'm interested about that. So I'm gonna get to my second favorite family recipe. My favorite family recipe is a dish called yak, Y-O-C-K, or some people spell it Y-O-K. Mary said you should not have been on the cash register, but they put you on the cash register, so they must have some trust in you. They felt like you were going to do a good job. And I know some of you can't see where these comments are coming in because I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube right now, I'm on LinkedIn right now. So sometimes I can see some of the comments and others I can't, but I can definitely see Mary and Sarah's. Mary's favorite dish, fireside soup, shrimp Creole, Russian tea. I need to know what's in fireside soup because I'm a wintertime, comfort food kind of guy. So if there's a dish for a recipe for the fireside soup and it's a warm soup, shrimp Creole, that's good. I know what that is. But tell me, where can I find the ingredients for fireside soup? Sarah, what's your favorite family recipe? Mine is called yak. It's what I call Blasian. Some people call it Blasian, but I would call it a Blackanese dish. Blackanese dish, black and Chinese dish, because it's only sold in the Chinese restaurants in Virginia where I grew up. Okay. Sarah, you size the trees, which means you say how much they should cost. So you just made up the number out of the top of your head. I mean, like, what's the difference between a 6-foot tree and a 7-foot tree in terms of cost? And why are you charging people more money for the tree, depending on the height? That was a good hustle. I bet you made some good extra tips. Okay. All right, Mary. Let's see what this fireside soup has in it. Sausage, potatoes, and green peppers with caraway seeds. Ooh. What's the broth do you put it in? I mean, is it beef broth, chicken broth? Because literally, my wife and I, well, my wife primarily, makes a sausage, potatoes, green, red, and yellow pepper dish that we don't put them in a soup. We like put them in the oven to bake and put some seasoning on them, and then we eat them in a bowl. It's really, really good. But I'm interested to find out more about how do you make this fireside soup. That sounds great. Anyway, so let me tell you about yak. Let me tell you what's in it. It's going to sound bizarre to some of you, but don't knock it till you try it. It is Asian rice noodles. Asian rice noodles. You boil them down, get the starch off of them. You put them in it. Lots of kidney beans and straight up water. Okay. Sarah, you're Frito enchiladas. Woo. I'm okay with enchiladas. I don't do a lot of Mexican food. I really just don't like it. Tiff and Ash will tell you I don't really like going to Mexican restaurants. I eat the chips and salsa, but that's about it. But lots of kidney beans and straight up water. I like that. You know what? That's going to be on the try it this month list. Before the month is out, I'm going to make this fireside soup. I'm really digging this. I'm not making no Frito enchiladas, Sarah. I can just go ahead and tell you that right now. I'm just not doing it because I don't do enchiladas. But, I'm not knocking what you love. If you love it, you love it. Okay, so my yaka main is rice noodles. You boil them down. You get all the starch off of them. You put them in cold water. Then you boil some chicken. So, oh, great. Thank you for sending that. I really appreciate that. Appreciate it, Mary, for sending the recipe. So you boil some chicken bouillon. And when I say boil some chicken, skin on. You can do wings or you can do thighs. Really don't do breasts because breast is just dry meat. And I don't like dry meat. I like dark meat because it's, I like dark meat over dry meat. I mean, white meat in chicken. Don't ask me why. I love dark meat. Okay. Sarah, I've tried to expand my horizon. My wife and daughter have taken me to every Mexican restaurant they can think of on planet Earth. And I will go there with them begrudgingly, but I usually get steak and peppers when I'm there. I'll eat the black beans and rice, but enchiladas, burritos, no, I'm not that guy. Just not it. Okay, so let me go back to my yacht. Boil the chicken, thighs or wings in bouillon. Okay, you boil them, make sure that they're cooked all the way through, boiled until the chicken is almost falling off the bone. Don't grill the chicken. You boil the chicken. Okay? Oh, need collagen from the bones and wings and thighs to get the flavor. Okay, so yeah, there you go. See? Chef Mary is with me. She is the best, y'all. If y'all don't know Mary Hip, you need to know Mary Hip, okay? Good gravy. Okay, so you boil the chicken. Okay, that's in a separate pot. The noodles are already done. So then you heat the noodles up. And you put them in a bowl. And then you ladle 2 spoons of the broth that the chicken was boiled in over top the noodles. And then this is where the specialness comes in. You mix in the following ingredients into the bowl. You put in ketchup, soy sauce, red pepper or cayenne pepper if you want, onions, like chopped white onion or yellow onion, and then you cut up the chicken on the bone, and then you put the chicken on top of the rice, okay? And then you mix it up. Cynthia, I'm not stewing the chicken. No, I don't like stewed chicken. I like boiled chicken. Stewed chicken is different because when you boil the chicken and you take it out of the water, you can dry it out. But stewed chicken is like wet chicken. I don't like wet chicken. Okay. So long story short, my favorite recipe is yak with chicken. Now, some people use shrimp in their yak. Some people use pork. My grandmother used to do like pork chops in her yak. You could do beef in your yak. But yak is a delicacy native to the Hampton Roads region of Virginia. Don't let anybody in any other region of the country tell you that they make yak, especially those folks from New Orleans who got some dish called yakamain that's not made the same way. It don't taste the same. It don't look the same. It don't have the same ingredients. And I've had several people of my friends send me, videos from New Orleans chefs telling me about yakamain. They don't know how to make no yak. If you're not from the 757 Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Newport News, Hampton, and Suffolk, if you ain't from the 757 Tidewater, you don't know yak. And if you brand new to that area, then you may not know yak. But if you're born and raised there in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, you know yak. Because when the Chinese came over and they opened their restaurants, the only people who would buy from them is black folks. So they came up with a dish. There's another dish called a smoked sausage and rice. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, so my favorite family recipe is yak. So I want to know your favorite family recipe. I got some good stuff to try. I don't know about Russian tea. I've never had Russian tea before. Is it like Russian vodka? I've had that. Fireside soup, shrimp Creole, Frito enchiladas. So you use actual Fritos in the enchiladas, Sarah? Like Frito-Lay Fritos? Now, I'll tell you what I do like that's Mexican is taco soup. Have you ever had taco soup? We make taco soup in our house. Matter of fact, we've been eating taco soup since the weekend. Okay. All right. That is my favorite family recipe. So I got 3 more questions to go as a leader. Again, I'm sharing more. Question number 3. What school subject is your least favorite? Well, I've already said that. Math. I can't stand math or couldn't stand math. And what I mean, I'm talking all math. I'm talking from double-digit division all the way to whatever you want to name. From double-digit division all the way to whatever you want to name was not my cup of tea. Mary, you and I in the same boat. Can't stand math. Mary, it was so bad for me that when I took algebra in the 9th grade, I failed it all 4 9 weeks. Like straight F failed it. Like no borderline C, no borderline B, a straight up F in math, algebra. But I took it over in summer school and I got a B. And then I took geometry and I made C's and D's that whole year, but I passed with a D, so I didn't have to take it over again. And then the algebra 2, I took that in the 11th grade. I failed that all the way across. F's all the way across. You flunked geometry twice until you had to take, until I had taken mechanical drawing for theater design. So you're like me. So we 2 birds of a feather here because I struggled in the math class. I failed algebra 2, F's all the way across, and took that over in summer school. And I didn't take any more math classes after that till I was in graduate school. And that was really statistics. Yeah, calculus. I don't think nobody understands calculus. I haven't yet to meet a person who had to use Pythagorean theorem in real life, or to solve for x squared plus z squared equals y cubed. I don't think I had anybody ever had to figure that out, unless you work for NASA, which I don't, and don't want to work for NASA, and don't have any kind of context for need of that. So I'm glad AI is in modern era, because now that we got AI and calculators, I never need to do a calculation in my head on my own again. Yeah, you flunked statistics. I never took statistics. Like I said, when they told me I only needed 3 math courses to graduate from high school and get a full scholarship to college, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, that was it. I didn't take another one. Didn't want to. I majored in history for that reason alone. So I wouldn't have to take any math classes. I was allowed to sub out. I was able to sub out philosophy or logic, which was philosophy 110 and 111 for that. And that was easy, not because I was smart at it, but because I cheated. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all, there was some cheating in college, and I was a participant in it. Not throwing anybody else under the bus but me, but I know what I did. But after I took those 2 classes, I never saw another math class in undergrad. Got a degree in history from USC, decent GPA, but I wasn't taking no math classes. So y'all are doing good with me. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. Here's the question number 4. If you had a time machine, would you go back in time or into the future? That's a great question. If you had a time machine, would you go back in time or into the future? I'm curious of what your answers would be. My answer is absolutely going into the future. The reason why I'm choosing to go into the future rather than go back in time, because you see my skin tone. Ain't nothing about being Black in the past I want anything to do with before 1973. I just don't. The stories I heard from my parents and grandparents, and heard about my great-grandparents and their parents, ain't nothing about their life I want nothing to do with. But I do want to go into the future to see my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, or better yet, what the world is going to be like 150 years from now. So if I had a time machine to go back in time, or to go back in time or into the future, I would do. Okay, Cynthia says she's going back in time. I want to know why. What you want to see back there? Who you want to meet with? Now, if you want to go back in time, now let me qualify this, because I said I didn't want to go back in time because I'm thinking about the construct of this 400 years of racialized oppression that has existed for Black people in the United States of America. However, I could really go way back in time where race was not a construct, and that might be amazing to experience. I could go back to the 12th century, go back to the time of Jesus Christ. Mary, I know that is a tough one. Have a conversation with dad and grandfathers. But you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and say this, Mary. I would love to go back in time to have a conversation with your dad. He was an amazing man, as you know. So important to me, such a big influence around all of the things that I do now and want to do more of. It'd be great to have another conversation with Hank Hip. I can tell you that for sure. So I'm curious, if you had a time machine, would you go back in time or into the future? Okay. Cynthia said, refocus and revisit my career choices. Yo, that's a good point. So you're not talking about going way, way back. You're talking about going back to those key critical moments of decision making that you had about the job that you accepted, the job that you turned down, the degree you chose to get, the place that you went to go and work, the supervisor you had. Like all of those things are great things to go back and revisit. But I would want to go into the future. I want to see how well we're off. How well are we going to be off 4 years from now, 10 years from now? That's something that I would be interested in. Okay, fifth and final question, and then I'm going to give y'all some more context about this deck of cards. Final question is, what's your favorite family or holiday tradition? That's the question. What is your favorite family or holiday tradition? Favorite family or holiday tradition? So most people normally go to Christmas and Thanksgiving as their favorite family holiday tradition. Most people go there. Some people have a summer tradition, like something that they do around the 4th of July holiday. But I will tell you that my favorite family holiday tradition in my particular family was always Memorial Day and Labor Day. The reason why Memorial Day and Labor Day was my family's favorite holiday tradition. I say my family, I'm talking about the family I was born into, not the one I married and created. I'll come back to them in a second. But the family that I was born into, Memorial Day and Labor Day were always Monday holidays. So they fell on a Monday. And we would always have a cookout on the Sunday and Monday of the holiday. Always did. Like when I say a cookout, it was stuff on the grill, a bushel of crabs, fried fish in the backyard, and there were a card table and somebody was playing bid whist, rise and fly. And so my parents, who have decent sized families, like my mom is one of 10, my dad is, one of 4 boys, right? But my dad had all of these Navy buddies and their wives and their kids. So their wives, the husband and wives became like my aunts and uncles, and their kids became like my cousins. And so bid whist was like 20 or 30 people at the house. So you couldn't play a long game. You had to play rise and fly. So if y'all don't know what rise and fly is, you play about 7 hands. And well, I'm not saying like really 7 hands. It could be 1 hand, depending on what your bid was. But literally you play to the score of 7. You either get 7 points or you go 7 out the back door. But either way, when you go out the back door, you and your partner got to get up and 2 other people sit down. So every Memorial Day and Labor Day was a bid whist party with stuff on the grill, crabs and fried fish at our house all the time. Okay, so Sarah says her family tradition is you go to Waffle House after church on Christmas Eve and then come home and watch a Christmas movie that you've never seen. Wow, that's a great one. Waffle House after church on Christmas Eve. That's fantastic. That's a fantastic tradition. And watching a movie that you've never watched before. That's good. Now, I'm going to give you a couple movies that I know, Sarah, that your husband has watched before, but I don't know if y'all consider these Christmas movies. And your girls are getting older, so maybe be okay for them to watch these movies too. Okay. Here's my 4 Christmas movies that sometimes people don't consider Christmas movies, but I'll give you this. Okay. Okay. Number 1 is Beat Street. That's a Christmas movie. The second movie is Die Hard. That's a Christmas movie. The third movie is Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. There's definitely a Christmas movie. And the fourth one is Bad Santa. I know we probably shouldn't say Bad Santa, but that's a Christmas movie for sure. Okay, so that's great. Great tradition. So Mary's holiday tradition is reading the night before Christmas on Christmas Eve till your dad passed, and then 4th of July Paulie's parade. So Mary, you don't know this about me, but when my family and I lived in Charleston, we came to Paulie's for 3 or 4 years on the 4th of July holiday, and we've been to that Christmas parade. We would spend 4th of July at Litchfield Beach. Now, how did that start? The hospital there, Tidelands Hospital, had a family residency program, and their residents would come in the summer. And so they hired me to come down and do a leadership training on diversity, equity, and inclusion for their new family residents. And it was an all day, like on the 3rd of July or the 2nd of July. And they told me just stay over for the week for 4th of July. And that's how I started spinning it out at 4th of July. So I've been to that parade, I think 3 or 4 times. Mom, you and your mom taking a short trip to someplace you've never been so far, Santa Fe, Miami, and Puerto Rico. Those are great trips with mom. Please give her my best, by the way. So, you know, that's awesome. Awesome. Okay. Ride and fly at camp may not have been appropriate. Yeah, you can't play that at camp. Okay, so Cynthia, your holiday tradition is any opportunity when all of your children and grandchildren can attend. With military sons, it's hard to choose a specific holiday. With your siblings, it was summertime at the beach. It's all good stuff. All good stuff. Really, really good to hear. Trading Places is a Christmas movie. It is one of the best Christmas movies. Okay. Number 1, Sarah, was Beat Street, Beat Street. Nate has seen Beat Street. You may not have, but Nate has seen Beat Street. Beat Street is the movie. Okay. So I've gone through these cards and I'm going to show you the box again. You can't get them anywhere. They're not for purchase yet. They're not for purchase. It's called Just Know Your Team Cards, a leadership development tool. So with a few minutes left, let me share with you why I created this. Playing Family Feud with siblings is also fun. That is good. So I created this tool because I wanted to know my team and I wanted to show them that I cared about them. So, for instance, let me go back and use what you all have shared with me and how I would use it as a leader. So as a leader that leads a team of people, we would go through these cards this week. And let's just say we went through these cards and it's January, okay? Well, Sarah, let's say your birthday is in September. Well, September birthday, I'm going to find the best chef in town and have them make Frito enchiladas for your birthday. So I can't necessarily give you $1 million. I can't buy you a big fancy gift. But if I decided to take $25 and rather than just go giving you a gift card from Starbucks that anybody can get, I would have a chef make your favorite dish for you. Okay. And so, your girls, of course they've seen Beach Street because Nate is your husband. Of course, that's right. But watch it again. Okay. So I would literally use this deck of cards to learn things about my team that were important to them. And because it's important to them, I would then show them that I remembered what was important to them by doing nice things for my team. Okay. So I'll give you one example. I had someone on my team one time who told me that their favorite restaurant was Olive Garden. And I was like, Olive Garden? And so most people said, that's not authentic Italian, or that's not this, that's not that. Well, the reason why she loved Olive Garden was because when she was younger, that was the restaurant that they would go on Sundays with her grandmother before she passed away. So Olive Garden had a sentimental vibe for her. It wasn't really about the food. It was about the memories with her grandmother. So when we finished a big project and this team member had a big important role in the project and we were all successful and we all got rewarded, what I decided to do was to get her a gift card to Olive Garden and say, I know I'm not your grandmother and your grandmother's not here, but I love for us to go to dinner as a team at Olive Garden in her memory. She never forgot it. That's just one example. I had another teammate. One of the questions in the deck that I didn't get to was like, what's your favorite candy bar? I'm going to ask you guys, put it in the chat and tell me your favorite candy bar. Because I put my favorite candy bar out for my team to know that it was a Snickers bar. And everybody went around and told me what their favorite candy bar was. I had a team member, her name was Kim. She told me that her favorite candy bar was a Twix. It was a Twix. I still remember it. And she had just started on the team, so she had only been on the team for probably like a month. And this question came up, and we all said our answers. And I remember writing down that her favorite candy bar was a Twix. So it was about, I don't know, 6 months later, 7 months later. I don't know how long later it was. I remembered that Kim's birthday was coming up, her birthday. So I asked Sarah, my executive assistant, to stop by the CVS on the way in and get a card for all of us to sign. And would you get a bag of Twix minis and put them in a little gift bag and bring them to our team meeting? So when we all got to work, we got the card signed by everybody and we put it in the bag and we put the mini Twix in the bag. And when we came in and had a team meeting and we said to Kim, hey, happy birthday. We can't do a whole lot for you, but here's a birthday gift for you. She opened the bag and saw the mini Twix in there. And she literally said some of the most powerful words that I've ever heard as a leader. And she said to me, you guys are amazing. This is an amazing team because you didn't just get me my favorite candy bar. You actually listened to me. You actually listened to me. And the lesson from that is that a lot of leaders, they think they know the people on their team, but they don't listen to them. And if you don't listen to people, you can't show them that you care about them. And if you don't show them that you care about them, then they're never going to be invested in helping you to achieve the goals in the organization or your goals as a leader. Because why would they invest in you if you aren't invested in them? So I created this deck of cards called Just Know Your Team. It has some resources on in the back. Ask good questions, learn about your team, and lead. Become a leader that knows and build a culture that cares. Because if you can build a culture that cares, then people won't quit. They won't quit on you. They won't quit on the work because everybody wants to belong. They want to be in the most inclusive environment possible. And when people feel excluded, it's because they don't feel like they can bring themselves to work. They can be themselves at work. And so this deck of cards and all 57 questions are tools for leaders to learn about their teams. Or when I say learn about their teams, learn what's important to the people on your teams. This is really important. Learn, use them and grow. Now, yes, it is such a tease that you can't get them yet, but give me about 60 days. I'm actually in final test phase now. And when I mean final test phase, I've sent these to 25 past clients. These are organizations who have booked me to speak at their organization or at a conference. So I'm a keynote speaker. I speak for fees. That's how I earn my living, pay my mortgage, take care of my family. And so when I'm in front of a group of people, I teach them how to become the leader that everybody admires, how to build a world-class workplace culture, the advantage of diversity, and how to bring your teams back from tough times. Those are the things that I speak about. So as a part of it, after I finish a keynote, when people come off stage, I get all kinds of questions and comments, all kinds of things that people, hey, Anton, how do you get to know people like that? Or, I'm struggling with getting to know my team. They won't talk to me. They won't share with me. They won't, some of them just want to come to work and go home. They don't want to tell everybody their business. I say the reason why they're like that is because you're being nosy. You're not being curious. There's a difference between being nosy and being curious. A leader should be curious about the people that they lead. Curiosity is a trait of an inclusive leader. So they are not going to be transparent and share anything with you until you be transparent first. So that's why I tell them, pull out 7 of these questions. And then what you do is after you pull out 7 of the questions, put together a presentation with your answers to these questions. So if I answered 7 questions in a PowerPoint presentation to my team about my favorite holiday, my favorite food, the car that I had when I was growing up, what my first job was, what my favorite candy bar is. If I was transparent like that with my team, it might make them a little bit more willing to be transparent and offer up their favorite candy bar or what their first car was growing up. These are all the tools that I've used for 25 years. And when I mean use them for 25 years, I really, 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 really have used them to build culture, commitment, legacy, partnership, and engagement with my team. Like I got employees that I haven't worked with in years, 15 years to be exact. And we still talk on a regular basis. They still check in with me. I still remember their birthday. I still remember their favorite color. I still remember the story that they told me about this one outfit that their dad wears all the time. Because, one of my questions is like, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it was like, did any of your parents have a special outfit that they wore all the time? And I told my team about my dad's multicolored green shirt with the butterfly collar. My dad had this shirt. It looked like a gigolo shirt. My mama still remember the shirt. But my dad would wear it at every special event. It was like his only dress shirt. It was ugly as all get out, but he wore it all the time. So I told my team about that, and I never forget. Person in my team told me about her dad's khaki jumpsuit that he would wear, and that was his thing to wear, this khaki jumpsuit. So you remember these things about people that you're in relationship with. And yes, Dr. Cynthia, this tool can be used as a family tool as well, because a lot of these things we don't know about our families anymore. Okay. But like I said, Mary, Sarah, Dr. Cynthia, and everybody else watching, just give me until about the end of March, early April. We should be final on this deck, and we will be happy to show you how you can get it. We'll have a sales page where people can buy them. And I know the question is, well, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? Well, let me just be clear. It ain't going to be cheap, because what I have identified in the 25 years of using these questions, and also how I structure the instructions in the deck, that if you have an employee who's on the verge of quitting, if you have an employee at any level who's on the verge of quitting and they quit, it's going to cost you to replace them. So let's just say you work in a hospital and you have a nurse that makes $50,000 a year and they're on the verge of quitting. Well, when they quit, it's going to cost you $75,000 to replace that nurse. It's going to cost you $25,000 more plus 1 year's worth of salary to replace that nurse that you lose. So it would be better to not lose the nurse in the first place. So is this deck of cards going to cost you $25,000? No, it ain't going to cost you that much. But this is not a $5 deck of cards that you can buy at a convenience store or a $20 deck of cards that you can probably get online somewhere. This is a leadership development tool. You use this, you will become a better leader. You will get promoted. You will retain your talent. You will grow your organization. You will have a positive economic impact. So yes, it ain't cheap. And guess what? I know it ain't for everybody. I really don't want everybody to have it. I only want the people who are invested in developing their teams and developing a culture that everybody feels valued, they feel respected, they feel included, they feel visible, but most importantly, they feel empowered to be themselves at work so they can help you to execute on the mission, which helps to grow the margin or helps to grow the ministry if you're in a nonprofit sector of some sort. So that's the Just Know Your Team cards. Happy MLK Day to everybody. I really appreciate y'all joining me. It is MLK Day. I just wanted to do this today. And I might do special lives like this on holidays because I do a regular live. I'm on live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Where I do leadership live. I'm talking about leadership content to help you to be a better leader. I got a YouTube channel. I got all kinds of stuff, but I don't usually go random and just engage with people like this, but it's been fun today. And I really appreciate all of you for being on. So I wish you the best this year, the best in your life, the best in your family, all that you do, everywhere you get to serve. Thank you for joining me and have an amazing afternoon. And I'm probably going to go live again this evening around 8 o'clock because I'm going to catch the late shift people, those after dinner folks, the people who might be go random. That's exactly what I call it, go random. There's a lot of people who are either working today or they're out celebrating, they're out doing holiday related stuff, or they might be stuck watching TV. And I don't know why you would be doing that, but I'm not. So y'all have an amazing day. More to come soon from Anton Gunn. Blessings to you. I appreciate you being on. Everybody have a fantastic day. I'm out. And Ron Harvey, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Great work on your behalf as well. Take care.